It's like if chocolate and hazelnut had an illicit love affair and we caught them in the act. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marta and I am the chef and author of Sense and Edibility, a site where I teach people everything I know about cooking, baking, and cocktail making. And in today's video, I am teaching you how to bake my hazelnut chocolate cheesecake with chocolate ganache topping. This is my first video of 2025. I took a leave of absence, I would call it, because of health issues, and I'll explain that later after the video. But this is a recipe that I love to make for people for Valentine's Day or for Christmas or just because they like hazelnut chocolate. These little hazelnut chocolates are my family's favorite candy. My husband tends to give them to me every Valentine's Day. Newsflash, I don't really like them. But I think because he likes them so much, he buys them so that I can say, oh, thank you, because he knows I'm not like a trifling person and I thank people for gifts. And then he and my daughter and my son get to eat them. So I decided to make something that I actually like by incorporating these flavors, hazelnut and chocolate, into my favorite dessert, which is a cheesecake. And here you have this gem of decadence in edible form. But before we get into the video, I would really like it if you would subscribe to my channel and sign up for notifications so that you can get notified every time I post a new video. Your support of my channel allows me to take those leaves of the absences and just still be able to produce and bring you amazing video and content like this. Let's get into the video. Let me show you how I make my chocolate hazelnut cheesecake with chocolate ganache topping. Okay, begin by putting 8 cups of water on the stove to boil at medium-high heat. We're going to use this later for the water bath. Now we're going to shimmy on over to the counter and grab some chocolate animal crackers, and I want you to pulverize these to crumbs in a food processor. Once you have your crumbs, transfer them to a mixing bowl and add melted unsalted butter. Use your hand to kind of squish these together, and once they hold their shape when you squeeze them really tight in your fist, this crust is ready to use. If butter oozes between your knuckles when you squeeze, you need to add more animal crackers because it's too greasy. And if it's too dry and falls apart, you need to add more butter. And once you've achieved the proper consistency, I want you to scrape it into a 9-inch spring-form pan, also known as a cheesecake pan. And you're going to form the crust, like press the crust into the bottom of the pan and into the side, up the sides. You can use the back of your fingers, like your knuckles, but I don't like the way it creates peaks and valleys in the sliced cheesecake. So instead, I recommend using a measuring cup that you use to measure out all the rest of your cheesecake ingredients. Just press the measuring cup into the bottom and sides of the cheesecake to form it along the pan. I prefer a thick cheesecake crust, so I make my edge shorter or my sides shorter. If you prefer a thinner one, make them taller. Now bake the crust for 10 minutes in a 350 Fahrenheit, 177 Celsius degree oven. And then remove it, but don't turn off the oven because you need to bake the cheesecake. Wrap the pan in 2 layers of aluminum foil for later baking. Just set this to the side for now so that we can make the cheesecake batter. Take room temperature full fat cream cheese and add it to a bowl. And then in a smaller bowl, combine granulated sugar, Dutch processed cocoa powder, and kosher salt. Once the dry mixture is well blended, add it to the cream cheese in the mixing bowl and use an electric hand or a stand mixer set at low speed to blend the dry ingredients with the cream cheese. You want to start out low because this is going to fly. All that dry stuff is going to fly everywhere. Once the dry ingredients are, for the most part, incorporated into the cream cheese, stop the mixer and scrape down the bowl. Make sure you're getting the bottom of the bowl where the dry mixture likes to hang out. And then you're going to begin beating the batter again, but this time increase the mixing speed to medium and blend the cream cheese mixture for 2 minutes. But stop halfway through that 2 minutes to scrape down the bowl and the beaters. After 2 minutes of mixing, add 1 room temperature large egg to the bowl and blend it in at low speed. You're going to add a total of 4 large room temperature eggs to this cheesecake batter. You don't necessarily have to stop the mixer after each egg and scrape down the bowl in the beaters, but if you see that the batter is still kind of chunky, you want to make sure that you're scraping down bowl and beaters as frequently as possible, usually after the addition of each egg. After you add that final egg, you should stop the mixer and scrape down the bowl in the beaters, and then mix the batter for an additional minute at medium speed. Now, I recommend stirring the chocolate hazelnut spread before you add it to the batter. If it's really thick, you probably want to microwave it for about 30 seconds just to loosen it up, but stir it really well to get rid of large clumps. Add it to the bowl along with some pure vanilla extract and blend these in at medium-low speed for about a minute. You can go up to 2 minutes if you find that your batter is extra clumpy. The goal is to get rid of massive clumps in the batter so that you have a smooth batter. Stop the mixer and once again scrape down the bowl and the beaters. And you're next going to add room temperature full fat sour cream. I like the way the acidity in the sour cream cuts through the richness of the chocolate and kind of mellows out the flavor. Still rich and decadent, but now it's well balanced. So you're going to blend the sour cream into the batter for a minute at medium-low speed or until the batter looks like a silky, fluffy chocolate mousse. Okay, so let me break this down for you. What you're going to do is you're going to grab your cheesecake pan that you prepared earlier, and you're going to set it inside of a pan that is about 3 to 4 inches wider than the cheesecake pan. Scrape the cheesecake batter into the crust and then smooth it out with your rubber spatula. I have no idea why I didn't capture this on film, but you're going to pour that boiling water from earlier into the outer pan, and then you're going to bake the cheesecake for an hour in the oven that you should not have turned off. After an hour, prop the oven door open with a wooden spoon and set your timer for 60 minutes because what you want to do is gradually cool this cheesecake in the oven. This is one of the best ways to avoid cracks in the surface of your cheesecake. After an hour, remove the entire pan setup from the oven, peel apart or pull away the aluminum foil wrapping and lift out the spring-form pan. Set this on a countertop. You can take care of the dishes. And you want to let the cheesecake cool to room temperature. Meanwhile, we can make our chocolate ganache topping. Take dark chocolate chips and add pure vanilla extract, or you can use cognac or brandy, and hot cream. This is heavy cream that I've microwaved in the microwave for about a minute. Let the mixture sit for about a minute or two before you start whisking gently because you don't want it to splash everywhere. Also, get a bigger mixing bowl than I did. And you want to whisk it until it is very smooth and shiny. Once you have achieved smoothie shininess, you are going to designate 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup if you're feeling indulgent to pouring over that room temperature cheesecake. Once you've poured over the ganache, you want to twirl the pan just a little bit to even out the chocolate ganache and refrigerate this cheesecake for at least 6 hours or overnight. In the meantime, you can make your whipped chocolate ganache, though this is optional. That leftover chocolate ganache, after about 2 to 3 hours, is going to firm up to the point where it looks like that fake fudge frosting in the plastic tubs. Grab your electric hand mixer and attach the whip attachment, and you want to whip this. The bowl started flying out of my hand when I did this. Start off on low. That's the reason why we start low. Whip this at low speed for about 30 seconds just to get it going and stop and scrape down the bowl. Once you scraped it down, begin blending it again at medium-high speed for about a minute and 30 seconds to two minutes. It should look like fluffy mousse. That's the best way to describe it. Now, I always go back to my pastry chef days whenever I'm decorating a cake, so all of this is optional. Take a glass of really hot water and dip a paring knife, a very sharp paring knife, into that water to heat it up. Wipe off the excess water. Slide the knife between the ganache in the pan, or the cheesecake in the pan, to separate the two. Unclip your springform pan and twist it just a little bit because that helps it loosen completely from the cheesecake. And lift out the cheesecake. You can go wash the color or put it in the sink for the kids to do. Take a larger knife, dip it in that hot water, wipe off the excess water, and use it to score the cheesecake. You're not cutting the cheesecake at this point. The reason why I do this is because it allows me to decorate the cheesecake in a way that makes it look good when I go to serve it. And it also lets everybody know how much cheesecake they can get. So now what I want to do is decorate the top of the cheesecake with the hazelnut chocolate spread, or the chocolate hazelnut spread. I'm using a parchment cone to pipe because I want really thin strands. You can do this with a piping bag that's been fitted with a coupler and a small tip. I think it's a 00 or a 0 tip, or you can just make a parchment cone. I can show you how to do this in a different video. Snip off just the very edge, or about a 1/4 inch of the parchment cone to create your round hole. And then you're going to just pipe thin lines across the top of the cheesecake. Again, this is optional. I do it because I like to be extra. I like to use that pastry degree that I paid for, and it's just a reminder that I'm still that girl when it comes to piping lines. Now I'm taking that whipped chocolate ganache, the rest of the chocolate ganache, and I'm putting it into a piping bag that I fitted with a 1M tip. This is a star tip. All I'm doing is just piping little rosettes of the whipped chocolate ganache onto the slices of the cheesecake. Again, this is why I score my cheesecake, to make it easier for me to pipe the ganache. Now, again, a little bit extraness on my part. I want to top each, because it's not indulgent enough, right? I'm going to top each rosette with a chocolate hazelnut candy. This is just, I mean, this is how you impress people. Always use that water knife trick to get very clean, sharp slices like so. And this is the final hazelnut chocolate hazelnut cheesecake with whipped chocolate ganache topping, or chocolate ganache topping. Okay, total transparency, I already ate. I mean, I know it's good. I just want to show you guys. Oh my gosh, but you guys really have to look at that. Look how moussey. It's like chocolate hazelnut mousse in a cheesecake with decadence and sumptuousness. And okay, we're back. Oh God, it's like if chocolate and hazelnut had an illicit love affair and we caught them in the act. This cheesecake is so decadent and rich. If you're lactose intolerant, you probably wouldn't be eating this, but if you decide to just, take the risk, you're gonna need to eat this with chocolate or coffee or milk. It's so rich, you guys, and has so much chocolatey flavor, but you still get the earthy nuttiness from the hazelnut. And so I made some good cheesecakes in my life, but this is it. Yeah. Let me get myself together. Let me sip some milk, and I will be back with some frequently asked questions I get about this hazelnut chocolate cheesecake with chocolate ganache topping recipe. It's a long title. Chocolate hazelnut spread is kind of like if you were to take peanut butter and add cocoa powder to it. That's essentially what it is. It's not made with peanuts, obviously. It's made with hazelnuts or filberts that are blended into a puree or a hazelnut butter, and cocoa powder is added to that mixture to create the chocolate hazelnut spread. Usually we use, my family special. My son and husband will eat it straight from the jar with clean spoons, because I already got on them about that. That's how much they love this. Normal people would probably spread it on toast or on biscuits. Some people spread it on crackers. It's basically hazelnut butter with chocolate. So that's all that this spread is. This was a really good question. A lot of countries have different types of dark chocolate. So I recommend for the chocolate ganache part of this recipe using 66% cocoa, dark cocoa, or higher. Something with a little bit of bitterness to cut through the rest of the richness in this recipe. You could use milk chocolate, but That will, I think, in my opinion, make it cloyingly sweet. At the very least, I recommend using semi-sweet chocolate chips, but I'm a big fan of like 72% dark chocolate. So it just gives more contrast of flavors and balances out the overall taste of this recipe. I have a something. I don't know. I'm okay, everybody. You don't have to top your cheesecake with the hazelnut chocolate candies. I do it because it makes it look pretty, and it also like brings back, it's nostalgic from my, pastry chef days when I used to decorate cakes. And you also don't have to do the rosettes. You don't have to pipe the rosettes onto the cheesecake. That's something else that I do because it it regulates my family so that they're not like taking a massive slice of this cheesecake and instead taking human slices. That's the other reason why I do it. It makes the cake look pretty. You don't have to decorate it to the extent that I decorated it. It's really pretty on its own. I do recommend doing the drizzle of of the hazelnut chocolate spread over the cheesecake, because that's just, it's just so cute, right? And you're gonna have the spread left over, so you're gonna have extra. But no, you don't have to decorate it the way I did. Amazingly and beautifully, like I did. If you don't have or can't access animal crackers, you can use, I use those little, the little bears, the little graham bears that they sell. I use the chocolate ones. I've used the chocolate animal crackers, chocolate graham crackers you can also use. But you can also use regular graham crackers, Biscoff cookies, Zwieback cookies, and at the last resort, you can take the chocolate sandwich cookies. You could take the chocolate sandwich cookies, remove the cream filling from them, and then use those as the base for your cheesecake, or as the crust for your cheesecake. I say that as a last resort because that's a lot of work in a recipe that already requires a few steps. So if you can't find chocolate animal crackers or chocolate graham crackers, then use Biscoff cookies. I think that flavor profile works better with the rest of what's going on here than regular graham crackers or Zwieback or, stuff like that. Yes, my cheesecake recipes are a labor of love because I don't believe in cracked tops. I don't believe in runny filling centers. I don't believe in burnt cheesecake. There is a very detailed process that I go through with all of the cheesecakes that you're going to find on my site. I take the time that I take to make my cheesecakes because it ensures that I will never have a cracked crust. I've never had a cracked crust in more than 20 years of making cheesecakes. I'm not gonna knock on wood because I never will, because I use the same process. The water bath helps regulate the temperature in the oven so that the custard doesn't crack. The slow or the gradual cooling of the cheesecake in the oven first and then on the countertop prevents the custard from going into shock with a temperature change. Like if you were to remove it from the oven as soon as it was done baking and put it in what is right now a very cold studio that I'm working in, it would shrink and it would probably crack. These steps, and then of course chilling in the refrigerator overnight, all these steps help contribute to the perfect consistency of my cheesecakes. I will never change the way I do cheesecakes. And I hope you would try it at least once before you write it off and say it's too much work, because the results are really worth the effort. So yeah, it takes that long to make a cheesecake because it's my cheesecake and that's how I get down. Yeah. The reason why I use 9 inches is because it gives you the perfect height for your cheesecake. I mean, this is deep enough for me to feel satiated. That's how you say that? Satiated? It feels good. I feel good eating it. A 12 or a 10-inch cheesecake will result in a shorter cheesecake, but you'll get more servings out of it. An 8-inch obviously would produce a deeper cheesecake, but less servings. If you go 8 inches, I recommend baking the cheesecake for an additional 10 minutes because it's depth. It's deeper, so the interior may not cook as fast or bake as fast as a wider, shallower 9-inch. The 10-inch, still cook it for, or still bake it for an hour. You can do 8, 9, or 10. I recommend 9 because for me, it's the perfect balance of depth and amount of servings. We get 2 servings each, my family of 4. And then me and Hector get the other ones because we pay bills and the kids don't. So it's perfect for us. Okay, so that is how I make my hazelnut chocolate cheesecake with chocolate ganache topping. Watch this video, get familiar with it, read my blog with very detailed notes and instructions, and you will be able to pull this off even if you're not that great of a baker. So if you're looking to really impress somebody in your life, throw this one at them. I'm telling you, especially if they love chocolate. Oh my goodness, you can name the baby after me, or invite me to the wedding. One of the two. Something's gonna happen, but it's gonna be good. You can get all the details, all the tips, all the techniques from the full blog post on my site, senseandedibility.com, because I'm really good with cheesecake. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel and sign up for notifications so that you can get notified every time I post a new video like this one. And don't click out too fast because I have outtakes. It wouldn't be me without outtakes. And a health update if you want to watch it. Bye. Thanks for watching. Hi, my... Oh, that was stupid. Video I want to... Hi. Hazelnut chocolates are my favorite. Are my family's... Hazelnut chocolates are my family's... Okay, let's just pretend that we were dating and I had to go away and center myself and find peace, and now I'm coming back into a relationship with delicious things to offer you. Accept me back, please. Thanks. So, health update. In July, I started dealing with numbness, lack of feeling in my left arm and hand. I told you about that in my last video. I ended up being admitted to the hospital for a few days on my birthday, only to discover I have developed 3 new lesions. I have 1 on my brain and 2 on my spinal cord. So that means that my MS has progressed slightly. I'm starting a new medication, so hopefully I can stave off any progression of the disease. But I do think, according to my neurologist and his timeline of when I should have gotten the feeling back in my hand, I think I've lost the feeling in my left arm and hand. Boo. I can still use it. I still feel pressure. I just don't feel temperature, which is a problem as a chef. But I am adapting to it, and in the process, I'm also learning about how we as a society could be more adaptable to people with impairments like mine. But yeah, if you pray or if you send good energy, I would love for you to do that with me. But I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for being in my community. Thanks for caring. Thanks for watching. Bye.